Ladies and gentlemen, MisterWives. The first single is called Machine, and you're talking about breaking out from the confines of the recording industry or sort of finding a way to assert your individualism. Did you feel confined a little bit after the success of the first album?
Anybody want to go?
Yeah, I don't think we felt confined. I think we just wanted to keep doing what we were doing and make a record as all of us would, which is go away and, you know, record and write and come up with our own parts. And why are you laughing?
Huh? They're making me laugh.
Oh.
It's not you.
Thanks. Knock it off.
Yeah, I guess the first album, we were blown away by how much support we gained. But with that comes great responsibility and a lot of people on the labels telling you, you know, how you should write, or, you know, working with this person or co-writing, or not allowing us to just write the music that we want and feel is, you know, organic and natural. So for the second album, we really wanted to just get rid of all that noise. So we went upstate and just kind of lived in the woods and had bonfires every night and turned the living room into a recording studio. And we really just felt like kids again, like how you feel when you first started writing music as a, you know, 13-year-old person with your friends and stuff. And it was just really nice to get back to the roots of being a band.
I imagine it's kind of hard going into a second album because the first album is made up of all the ideas that have been in your head since you were a little kid, you know? Like, you get to sort of just suddenly bring everything to fruition, and out of the second album, you actually have to sort of dig in the dirt and find ideas rather than just sort of have them naturally come to you over the course of the years. How did you guys go about that process? What did you do to sort of bring ideas to life or find new ideas?
Yeah, Mandy, what'd you do to do all that work?
I know, they always say you have a lifetime to write your first record and then like a year to write your second, which is a little daunting and scary, but we'd been on tour for so long that I hadn't written in a while, so when we came home, it was pretty easy. For some reason, it just worked. Everything poured out of me, and I had a lot to say in many different areas of my life. So I was feeling very inspired, and I'm happy that I didn't try to do the whole writing on the road thing, because I'm just not that way. I like to be away by myself to write, just be with my own thoughts and the keys. So it kind of all just poured out, and then these guys obviously come and elevate the music to such an amazing, you know, point, and it's so fun to grow the music together that way.
How long were you guys upstate recording?
That was a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think that was just about 2 weeks because we did most of the album in my parents' basement, which we call Narnia because there's like a wine cellar, there's the treehouse where Mandy wrote our own house in, and it's
got
just
a Mad Max, a Narnia reference, and then just like a superhero reference.
Yeah,
like,
there was a Spider-Man reference thrown in there as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, we like fantastical movies.
Can I assume that you guys are kind of nerdy?
Well, a long time ago when the galaxy's far, far away.
You're with a member of the tribe if you are, but I'm just sort of, you know, I don't mean it in a pejorative kind of way. I'm just asking.
Yeah. No, we're definitely a bunch of nerds for sure.
I think.
I mean, at least Will is.
What?
What?
No way, man. I'm super cool.
Well, nerds are cool now. So
Oh, nice.
there you go.
Yeah, we're definitely nerds then.
So you recorded most of the album in your parents' basement, you said.
Yeah.
And then you went upstate. What did you go upstate? What did you feel like you could add to it by being upstate?
Well, my parents came home, so when they came home, we were like, no, this got to keep going. So we took all of our gear and packed it in a van and went up to, it was called Kerhonkson, New York.
I love Kerhonkson.
Yeah. You been there?
Yeah, I love all those areas upstate.
Yeah.
Kerhonkson's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And then you guys ended up sort of working with a sort of pretty big deal producer, right? On some of the tracks?
We did, yeah. Butch Walker is a genius, and he's amazing. And the first day we rolled in, I was a little nervous because I had like all these tracks that I was bringing him, and I was like, can we use any of this stuff? And he was just so warm and welcoming and was like, just think of me as your co-pilot. Like, and I was like, I'm not flying the ship. Like, we're here for you. And no, it was great. What?
Flying the ship. It's an airship. It's pirate. Yeah, pirates.
Yeah.
The ships.
Pirates of the Caribbean. No.
You hear these producers' names all the time over the years in the recording industry, in the record industry, and no one ever really talks about what they bring to albums. It's just sort of like a quick line in a press release or something like, they worked with this guy who brought his passion and professionalism to it. What does someone like Butch Walker actually do with you guys? How does he co-pilot with you?
Well, he...
You want me to go?
What? You want to go?
He brought so much and so little at the same time, which is really weird to say, because he was just like, forget the noise of trying to sound perfect and singing vocals a million times over and over again to comp it and make you sound like everything we're conditioned to hearing, which is just pretty perfect production. And he was like, we're just gonna record vocals 3 times for a song. That's it. You only had a couple of takes for drums. Like, he really was very minimal in his production, which added so much because it allowed us to be humans making music and finding the quirks and the little mistakes and the sounds that originally we were like, oh, I don't know if that should be in there, but it was nice to have that human touch. So it was nice for him to just be like, unlearn all the shit that you have learned and just...
Yeah, because I went in there and was like, wow, I can't wait to like learn from this guy because I love doing production, and he's like obviously an idol, and I was just
He
like,
was like, no production.
he was basically, yeah. The first day I was like, yeah, no, I'm just trying to learn. He's like, well, the first thing you got to do is unlearn all of it, and I was just like, all right, that's probably a good lesson. So.
Why do you think he said that?
I just think, you know, in today's music, there's such a stress on everything being snapped to the grid. And his approach is entirely different in keeping things off the grid to make it feel as live as possible. So,
Which works incredibly well for a song near the end of the album, like "Oh Love," right? Which is just like this, it's massive rock song that you guys do. I think that's the one.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like, "Oh Love." It's like this bombastic, almost like arena rock song. It turns into, which would never work with like auto-tuning it or you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, definitely no. Mandy does not need auto-tune. That is for sure.
How did that work? Was that a song that you kind of found in the studio with Butch that was just sort of like, let's play it like a rock, like Bruce Springsteen in the studio or something?
Yeah, he kind of actually inspired that song, because we didn't have that song when we originally went out there to record with him. I wrote it the day after the election, and we were out there in California with him, and we only had, like a couple of days left to record with him, and it was almost not going to be on the album, but Butch is such a rocker, you know, all his bands that he's been in previously, from like hair metal bands to just old school rock, like it was fun to get to have that kind of voice around with us, so it somehow came out in "Oh Love." I feel like I think my anger and Butch's musical taste fused together for "Oh Love."
What were you thinking about the day after the election that informed that song? I mean, I was thinking a lot of things myself. But could have probably written 10 songs.
I cried a lot. I was very sad and very angry and didn't want to just, you know, write a Facebook status about it. I feel like music is such an amazing platform to get to speak on topics that will bring everybody together. And even if we feel hopeless and like there's no love, I think music is the perfect vehicle to help remind us that we can come together for the greater good and defeat the Sith Lord.
Another sick nerd ref for everybody.
Yeah.
Do you, you know, after something like the election, which just makes everybody feel a little more political, a little more engaged because we're angrier and it just seems crazy. How do you sort of put that in the songs without ever feeling preachy, but making sure that you're still kind of entertaining people and that they're still having a really good time when they hear the song? Or do you not even care? If it becomes a protest song, is that okay too?
Yeah, I think it's more the latter, yeah. I don't know. I don't even find it to be political. I'm not a political person. I just think this is morals. It's like what's good and what is evil at this point. And so for me, I don't even think of it as like, oh, this is politics. It's just about being good humans and bringing love and light into everybody's life and fighting, you know, the craziness that is going on in the world right now that just needs to come to an end. Like it can't exist anymore.
Yeah, they need to go to bed.
Yeah, so I don't think it's like I don't know. I don't care if it really offends anybody. I think everybody needs to hear that message. And I'm not writing it to be like, oh, is this PC? Is this okay if I say this? I feel like it's what needs to be heard right now more than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the title of the album, "Connect the Dots." Where did that come from?
Well, I did not
Talking a
come
lot.
up.
Does anybody want to talk?
Well, this is a tough answer, so
Yeah, I feel like you very eloquently explained this.
I'll talk
More
for a
so than
minute, but
myself.
in my talking, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah. Did you hear that question? It's a really good question.
Okay, really? No one?
Well, you answered so good, it would be a shame to have anyone else answer it.
I guess when we started writing the album, it was going in so many different directions. from genres to topics of life and where inspiration was being drawn for the songs, that it kind of started to feel like that childhood puzzle of connect the dots, where it was all these scattered dots and numbers, you know, where you're like, how do I make sense of all of this? And in that, I felt like life, in a sense, where you're trying to piece together everything, and sometimes it doesn't seem, you know, at all right and chaotic, but each piece is, you know, crucial to your full picture.
Trying to create some kind of coherence to the chaos.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what this album is, and that's how I think everybody can apply that to their life, and then you're left with the art that is you.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the influences on the album. I brought up David Bowie backstage specifically for one song, Chasing This, which sounds a little bit like Modern Love to me. But what were you guys listening to when you started recording, when you started throwing ideas at each other? Was there certain things that were influencing you specifically?
Yeah, we definitely, I think we all have very different musical tastes, but certain bands holding everyone together. I think we're always listening to No Doubt a lot for it, but I know ATN for the Let the Light In LCD sound system was definitely a big...
LCD sound system was a big influence on that
push for
song.
that.
That song has a very weird origin story, but
What is the... That is not weird
I
story.
really
Is
should.
not
I
a
don't know why I
phrase you
said
get
that.
away with on this stage. Sorry.
yeah.
Could have been another song, right?
yeah. Anyway, what else, Mark?
What is the so? What is the origin story for that song?
I don't know why I said that.
Me neither, but I'm really glad you did.
Thanks a lot.
I think we should play the original version. It started off as a joke song that ATN made this beat and sang on the song. But I was like, no, this beat is amazing. We should actually use this. Maybe not the vocals. The lyrics.
It was my singing
So I
debut.
wrote on top of this beat that he created as a joke, but it was incredible. And maybe
Thank
we
you.
should send you the original
Yeah, we'll send you the original.
song.
Please do. Is that just the weird origin story?
Yeah, that was yeah.
You
We'll
want
leave
to
it.
sing it for everybody? Come on, Abe.
Just share it with the group. Share it with the group.
No,
Come on.
but thank you for offering me to do that.
What era, no doubt, do you guys jump to?
Tragic Kingdom.
The Tragic Kingdom.
Yeah,
the real no doubt era.
Yeah.
But also, Rocksteady is like Hella Good is one of my
Yeah,
favorite
Hella
songs,
Good is
and
incredible.
probably the best drum production I've ever heard. So
Yeah.
They're also like a really interesting band in terms of how they transitioned from something like Tragic Kingdom, which is just sort of a classic alternative rock album, to
Yeah.
something like Steady that was like
Yeah.
very, very produced, like heavily produced pop music, which is sort of something that, as much as you guys aren't produced, you can kind of see the way that you're mixing genres in a similar way.
yeah, was that? Yes.
Classic non-questions, but expand, please.
Yeah.
Going into this album, were there any big fears that you guys had? You back there, who made a face?
I don't really.
do it.
I'm not really afraid of things that we do together because it's very awesome. Like, we're all friends in a band, and I don't think there's anything scary about making music with your friends. We have each other's back. Mandy writes awesome songs. We all have such a different idea of what music is and come together to create it together. I mean, we are lucky boys and girls. Very
Is
lucky.
there more than one girl?
Well said. Yeah. Who's the other girl?
Me.
Will.
Yeah.
Does it always feel that way when you guys are recording together and practicing and writing songs together, or do you ever have like minor disagreements that you know how to handle or deal with?
Yeah, I mean, I think we disagree on stuff, but it's never like negative or an argument. It's like we always just throw around ideas, and we're all, we don't have any egos in this band, so it's kind of just we're all open to listening to everybody. And
Yeah. Nothing is scary doing it together. I think the only scary thing is your brain when you're writing music. That's it. I didn't want to go to a dark place, but when you have these guys making music with you, they're always there to help, give you a boost of confidence and remind you why it is that we do what we do. So we're really lucky. It works so well. It's so weird. We spend so much time together, and we live together, and we miss each other on the off days that we're home, and we'll still hang out and be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, we were actually
Right.
trying to explain that to our Uber driver on the way over here, and he just was not having it. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, nah. We were just like, no, it's actually true. Like, we love being in a band with each other. It's like we spend virtually every second together, and then it becomes really weird going home and like not angry. You're kind of like, what are you up to right now? What's going on?
Will actually, when we came home from one of our first tours, went to Bowery Ballroom to start helping bands load in because he missed it so much.
Well, I just didn't want
what?
to. I didn't want to lose practice.
We don't want the magic to end.
We were sure there's some bands downtown, and he probably need help loading in. So
Just showing up to help.
Hanging out.
Yeah, well, we were on tour with Waters and Cruiser like 2 years ago, and I found out that they were playing a show in what was it, Mercury Lounge, I think.
oh, was it?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'll help load in, and like I was their crew for the day. I wasn't very good, but I liked doing it.
Your heart was in the right place.
My heart was.
And you guys just finished a tour, or like a big arena tour with Panic at the Disco, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yes, cool.
What was like the biggest audience that you guys got to play for?
Probably Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think for all of us, Madison Square Garden was like a landmark, to have the honor to play on that stage, and especially opening for a band like Panic. But we also played, what was Detroit? I mean, that was, the
Yeah.
Palace was,
Yeah,
Way too many people.
yeah. It was,
Yes.
yeah.
we couldn't count them each night to know, but I would say definitely over 100.
At least 100.
Terrifying. It's
least.
terrifying.
They just didn't seem real.
Yeah.
It's the easiest way to put it because you're so close on the stage, so it kind of felt like a really insane rehearsal. Like, because we're all just
In the
playing,
abyss.
and you can't pick out people, or it's like a video game, like a crowd on a soccer video game.
It wasn't like a video game for me, man. It wasn't like
It was bizarre. And then people would bring out
You
their
realize the
lights.
magnitude of it once we played Vagabond and Same Drugs and didn't even ask people to take out their phones and do the whole light
Yeah, it
thing.
was
But they
crazy.
did it on their own every single night, and you would just see the whole arena light up in these beautiful lights. And that was always a moment where I'm crying. Everybody's just like, what is happening? It never got old, and you realize, oh my God, there's people all the way up there. Like, it was just never ending. Which is beautiful and horrifying. It wasn't horrifying then. The rest of the set was scary.
That was my favorite part because
Yeah.
I don't play anything on the verses. I was
You're
just
asshole,
watching
of
and
course,
forgetting
yeah.
to come in.
He's
Take a
playing a
break.
Walk
video
over
game.
to Will and be like, "Oh my God, look at this!"
What was it like for you as a front person to perform at an arena like that the first time? I'm always fascinated by a person who has to actually like is not just behind an instrument, but has to like walk around and bring it and perform and sell people or like not hundreds of thousands, thousands and thousands of people. A full country you had to sell.
I have really bad stage fright, so arenas didn't help that, and it's hard to be on those stages because the greatest artists have been on that stage, and you're like, I'm not worthy to be up here, but then again, you have to take all your nerves and use it as adrenaline to fuel the best possible show you can have, and get the person in the front who had their arms crossed, who doesn't want to hear your music and is frowning. You want to have them dancing and smiling at the end of the show. So that, to me, that's always...
That was the greatest
Yeah.
part, I think. Seeing people who might have not participated at the first couple of songs, and then by the last song, seeing everyone on their feet dancing.
Yeah, that's a
like,
victory. That's
Yeah,
what
it felt
it's
like,
all
oh,
about.
we got to some people.
I would never be able to do that. I'd never want to win them over. I just want to make them angrier as the show went on.
Sometimes
shows we've
that
done that.
happens. Sometimes you have some really nasty people in the front, and then the queen starts to come out in me, and I'm just like... Jesse was like, what are you like, is Mandy okay? Is she mad? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, because sometimes you'd come over to me with this like intense look, and to me, I would be like, "Oh, I gotta go harder. I gotta," and you know, like I'm playing the keyboard, so it's not like what am I gonna do? Like jump up and down while playing the keyboard? It's kind of the best I could do. So I did.
I think the most bizarre thing for me was like playing a song like "Oh Love" and seeing someone in front of you like eating a hot dog or something. You're like,
Throwing
okay,
popcorn.
it's just entertainment. There's just someone eating slices of pizza and popcorn.
That's the weird thing about performing at festivals, I would imagine, right? When you go to a festival and it's like, there are so many other things for people to do at that festival other than just sort of be confronted with music, that you
Right.
can kind of see them doing it in the back of something, eating a hero or something. It's the weirdest thing. I
Very
couldn't
bizarre.
imagine for a band.
Festivals are my personal favorite thing to do, though. I
Yeah.
just love them. Yeah.
I think there's also like an energy amongst people who go to a festival, right? Like people are there to see music.
Alcohol.
There's this and alcohol.
Certain energy.
Lots of
DMA.
alcohol. But there's definitely an electricity you feel at a festival and a general love for music. I think the crowd expresses that translates across the stages, which is just amazing to see and be a part of, you know?
It's also just as a fan of music, going to music festivals, it's the greatest thing to have backstage passes to walk around and hang outside your favorite bands, stalk your favorite bands.
Who have you stalked at festivals?
We have Lucius. I'm a big fan of Lucius, and we saw Lucius backstage, and I kind of freaked out. We met
Chili
Chad
Peppers?
Smith, Red Hot
Yeah.
Chili Peppers.
That was definitely.
We watched their show, yeah, from side stage.
Mark didn't watch that.
Mark, you
I
weren't
didn't
there
make
though.
that one.
Why didn't you make that
That's
one?
weird that you weren't there.
Yeah.
Wonder what
We'll
happened.
move on.
Let's get
I had too
some.
much to drink. I got in trouble with the police.
It's one. It's one way to put it.
Yeah.
Let's get some questions from the audience. Who do we have right here?
Hello.
hello.
Long time no see.
Hello.
Okay, so I see that you're wearing a checkered hat, and Murph is wearing shoes that has checkers on them. So that's one of the theme nights on Parahoy. So does this mean you guys are going, or?
I talked to this guy, Pardo, back there. He works at them. He's our manager.
He is Mr.
Parahoy?
Parahoy.
What do you mean no?
Yes. He's the captain of Parahoy.
He's-
and he
yeah.
won't let us on the ship.
He flies that
We
ship.
want to be on it so bad.
They want to be on the ship.
We're working on it. I favor all your tweets. Anytime you're like, Paramore, MisterWives, have them
Yes.
on. I'm like, favorite, please.
That's just favoriting and then unfavoriting.
And then unfavoriting, yes. So maybe they see it a bunch more.
That's good technique.
Working on it.
Cool,
Trust
cool.
me.
Next question right here.
Hi, you guys always
Hello.
have really interesting music videos. I was wondering if you had a lot of input or if you got to put your ideas into them.
Oh, thank you. For starters,
Thank you.
yeah, we always come up with the ideas for the music video. We're very hands-on. Besides just the writing music and recording and everything, I feel like from stage design to music videos to merchandise, like we're always creating it ourselves. So it's fun. Music videos are like a creative writing class. You get to just pick up whatever fantasy you want and bring that vision to life.
Yeah. This was the machine video was definitely the funnest thing.
Oh my
to do,
God,
for
we
sure.
were like 5-year-old
It was
kids
so
playing make believe. Like,
Where did you
'cause it
guys
was
shoot that?
In the
In the
desert.
desert?
Vegas,
Vegas is
LA.
in
California.
California.
California. Yeah.
that
Northeast of LA. We did it in one day, morning and night, which got
Yeah.
very cold in the desert and very hot, obviously both. But it
Did
was
that in a day?
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah. It was like 20-hour day though. Yeah.
So it was a real day, like a shooting
Yeah.
day.
It was like we were
was
there
really
at
fun.
4 a.m. starting. Or something.
But so much of it depended on special effects that like nothing was really happening except for the scary people in the
And the
cars.
cars,
And
yeah.
They were
some of
very
their
real.
machine guns made sounds, and we were like, is that real? But it was really fun just to pretend we were getting chased, and
We were good at-
felt like kids.
Will really got into character.
I just wanted to do it. Wanted to go 110%. Actually, after the Our Own House video, I just don't think anything will be that difficult. That was probably the hardest thing.
my God.
that we-
Hardest
Dancing.
thing I've ever done.
having the 6 of us learn a dance was just terrible. It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
That was a lot of work. I now have a new appreciation for like long
Okay,
dances.
go and their dance
Oh,
videos
well,
and
yeah.
stuff.
God,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Their
stuff
videos
is
are
amazing.
I think we
Yeah.
have time for one more question right here.
Hi.
Hello.
You guys are awesome. Anyway, my question is for everyone. I guess when you're writing or maybe listening to a song, do you pay attention to the lyrics first or the instrumentals?
good question.
I would say that to me, that the lyrics are like the most important thing of any song that has lyrics, and any musician that is recording underneath a song that has lyrics should know them and take them into consideration before playing, because to me, the only reason you're making music is as a bed for the lyrics. Like to me, that's the way it should be. Lyrics are king, or in this case, queen.
Yeah, I feel like if I listen to something that I'm really, really
You just
like
listen to production.
into, I literally will just stand in one place without blinking and just kind of try to take it all in, and then I'll listen to it 10 more times and try to dissect all the parts. That's just my production ears just going crazy though.
It's pretty symbiotic for me. I don't know. When I write, it's not like because I had lyrics or a melody first, it kind of happens at the same time, and it's somewhat the same for listening to other people's music. I feel like the music itself pulls you to it, and also the lyrics helps make you connected even more to it, so it's kind of just a harmonious marriage of the two.
I feel like for me, I feel like I just listen to the music because the idea of writing lyrics to me is so beyond what I would ever be capable of doing that would be coherent or
This
decent.
is me shaking my head at you.
I mean, I'm just, got to play to your strengths. So I definitely try. I mean, I try and absorb as much as possible from like the instrumental side, just knowing that I'll never be able to pen an intelligent lyric.
I mean, I think when I was younger, I started more on the instrumental side, but I agree with Jesse that it's really the marriage of the two, right? It's the melody and the chords, how they express the lyric, and the power that can have, you know, independent of the two variables themselves. So I think when I listen to a new song, I'm always struck by the music first, but you have to dig into the lyrics to really grasp at some of the meaning, right? I think that's important.
Guys, you're on tour right now, right? The Connect the Dots tour. You're going to be at Terminal 5 in October,
Yeah.
right? Has the Connect
Yeah.
the Dots tour started yet? Are you doing in the middle of it?
September 21st
Yes.
Yeah.
is the first show.
Correct.
Excuse me. How many cities are you guys going to be across the country?
I think it's like 20,
28 is that
All
what
of
20
them.
28
There's
cities.
a lot of cities. They're going to
All
be
of
on
them.
tour. Buy tickets.
Yeah.
and go
Well,
see
listen,
them,
every city.
No matter where you're from. But if you guys here in New York, they're playing at Terminal 5 in October. The album is out now, right? On Spotify, iTunes. People can listen to it. MisterWives, everybody. Give them a round of applause.